Welcome to CCH Guitar Studio. I'm your host, Chad. In today's episode, we're going to talk about what plugins do you need? Well, if you're ready to record and you got everything going, what kind of plugins are you going to need? Well, let's start off with an equalizer first. Now, there's different types of equalizers out there. There's free ones, there's paid versions, there's a whole bunch of them. But let's talk about what kind you're going to need. Now, there are different types. There's a parametric EQ, there's semi-parametric EQ, you got a graphic EQ, and a dynamic EQ. The one you're going to be using most of the time is a parametric. Now, what this is going to do, it's going to give you a full control over all the frequencies, the Q, which is the bandwidth, the gain, and you can pick, like a bell or a high pass, low pass, high shelf, low shelf. These are the things you're going to need when you go to record. Now, for a free version, you can go with the Reaper plugin suite. Now, that does come with a bunch of other plugins that you can use, and I'll talk about one of them later on. But we're looking at the EQ. It comes with a parametric EQ, and you can do the frequencies, the Q, which is your bandwidth, and it also has your gain, so you can boost or cut. And then it also has your low pass filter, high pass filter, high shelf, low shelf, and it does everything that a parametric EQ will do. And it sounds good too. Now, if you're looking for a paid version, I would recommend going with Waves. Now, I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I have a lot of their plugins, and I really like the way they sound on my songs and stuff. So if you're going to get a Waves plugin, go with the Q10 equalizer. It's a good equalizer. It gives you a good sound, and it's got all the controls that you need, and it looks professional. Now, the next plugin you're going to need is a compressor. Now, what the compressor is going to do, it's going to compress the dynamic sound of your instrument. What it's going to do is it's going to take your loud levels and kind of bring them down to the softer levels, so it's a little bit more even throughout the whole thing. It kind of cleans up the sound, and it also kind of brings it out front. So what I would recommend would be a Reaper plugin that comes in with the Reaper plugin suite. Now, the one thing you want to look for is your attack, release, and ratio. Those are the three things that you want to have in your compressor. So if you're looking for a different compressor or whatever, and you find another free version of something like that, make sure that it has those controls on it. Those are what you're going to use. Now, if you're looking for a paid version, I would go with the Waves. Go with the C1 compressor. It gives you the attack, the release, and the ratio, and plus more stuff to use on it. The more you get comfortable using it, the more you'll probably end up using the other controls in it. But you just want something nice and simple, something easy to use, and it works great. Now, the next plugin you want to get is a reverb. Now, what this is going to do, it's going to add depth and bigness, I guess, to your vocals, or maybe to your guitar, the acoustic, or a clean guitar. Also, you can use it so that you can actually have it on your entire mix, which kind of gives it a room type of feel where it sounds like all your instruments are in the same room. So the one that I recommend for a free version is a Sanford Reverb. Now, I haven't really used it a whole lot, but I did try it out, and I think it actually compares to some of the paid versions. So it will do everything that I want it to do, and it should work out for you. Now, if you're looking for a paid version, obviously I'm going back to the Waves. Now, there's two Waves plugins I use. There's an H Reverb, and then there's a True Verb. Now, the H Reverb I prefer more of. It's got a better sound to it, I think. It's a little bit more versatile. With the True Verb, I do use that, but more of for mastering, I guess, where I can basically have all the instruments together. It sounds like it's in one room. Now, the three plugins I just talked about, these are the ones that I recommend that you have in your DAW. This way you can get your recordings going, and you're going to have what you need right away. Now, there are a few more plugins that I'd like to talk about that you may need later on, or you might need right now. One of them is an amp simulator. Now, if you can't mic up your amp, or if you don't even have an amp, you can download some free VSTs that are amp sims. Now I use Amplitude. It is a free version. I did buy it, but the free version that comes with it, it does have a bunch of different amps that you can use. Now the versatility about that is that you can buy single amps, you can buy single cabs, so you don't have to buy the whole thing. You can just get certain cabs if you want, which makes it really nice. And it sounds good too. Now, also my DAW already came with an amp sim too, which it's okay. It's not the greatest. Now, the other VSTs that you might want to think about getting would be maybe a drum. Now, there is a free version. It's called MT Power Drum Kit 2, I do believe. I'll have links in a description below so you can check them out. But that drum kit actually sounds pretty decent. I use Superior and Easy Drummer. That's a paid version. I know that there's other paid versions and there are some other free versions out there, but I would recommend the MT Power Drum Kit too. You may want a piano sound too. There are free versions out there. I'm using obviously the Waves plugin, but there are other free versions out there that actually sound decent. It's been a while since I actually downloaded any of them, so maybe later on, maybe I might do a video about that. The one though that I noticed that is pretty good would be the Spitfire Audio. They have the piano, and I do believe they have a strings too. So you can have that orchestra. That might be another VST that you want to get in. Also, there might be a bass that you need for VSTs. I would recommend you invest in an actual bass. The bass VSTs that are out there, they're pretty cheesy sounding. I even have a Waves bass that I use, but I don't use it very often. It just when I'm writing music, and if I need some like bass in there where I don't have time to record the bass, I'll throw that in there. But those are the other things that you want to think about. Now, I wouldn't go beyond that until you start really getting involved in your recording and stuff like that. So just stick to what I talked about and you should be fine. Now, I'll have a lot of links in the description below, so you can go check out all these different plugins if you really wanted to. Now, don't be afraid to check out other ones. What I would do if it was me, I usually download a few of them and then kind of go through them and see which ones sound good to me, which ones are easier to use and stuff like that. So just do a search if you need to, and then download what you want, and then just check them out. Play around with them. You'll be fine. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you later.